already that time again. Time for another haul. I don't know where my money goes most of the time. I feel like I do a really good job at saving and prioritizing and budgeting. And then I look at this and I'm like, man, that's a little bit of cash. But actually no, I'm excited because this haul, most of the stuff that's actually involved in this haul is from deals and stuff like that, a couple gifts, a couple things. I'm not really the biggest fan of spending $30+ on brand new releases. Typically there's sales, not long after they come out. And then you always have the case of hey, I bought a movie today and it was 30, and then tomorrow Amazon has it for 22. And that's just, that's why I tend to kind of wait a couple of days. But here I have a little haul that kind of comes from a wide mix of places. My dog is actually passed out, snoring right now, right behind the camera. You're probably going to hear him snoring, and I'm gonna try to just bang this out in one take, which usually isn't my style, but figured let's try it out. This isn't a full month haul. Obviously, this is coming towards the tail end of February, but this is stuff that just come in over the last, I don't know, probably a week or so, 2 weeks. That also includes a couple gifts and things. So let's dive into it. So first up, I actually just did a review for this on my channel. I did end up picking up The Fabelmans. So I picked this up at Target. I had some Target cash that I used to grab this with. And if you didn't get a chance to see my review, I love this movie. This is as a Spielberg super fan, as somebody who grew up with all the Amblin magic and all of that in my life, I loved every minute of this. There are moments of this that hit me so hard just based on experiences in my life. And at the end of it, I felt just sort of like this feeling of lightness. Like I was happy. I loved the story. I thought about it for days afterwards. And I do think it's one of Spielberg's best in a pretty long time. I did like West Side Story. And I did like, a few of the films that he did before that. But for a while, I felt like maybe just a little bit of the magic was gone. And this brought it back for me. I was really happy with the end result of that. It's one that I meant to see in theaters, and I unfortunately just missed out on. So these were... I'm always kind of looking to try to buy in bulk as much as I can. It is difficult, but I was looking specifically for these movies and found them in bulk with the slips and everything. I was really, really, really happy to get my hands on these. And I do have some thoughts on something that's going on with this franchise, but I'll show you first. First up, we have Toy Story. We have, if I can put it in my hand properly, Toy Story 2. We have, which I'm sure you're expecting, Toy Story 3. And then, no surprise, Toy Story 4. Now, Toy Story 5 was just announced, and it's part of this thing that Disney is doing where they're kind of bringing back the franchises. There was like a weird title that they gave it that included the announcement of Frozen 3 and Zootopia 2 as well. And I was actually a believer that Toy Story 3 was the perfect ending for this franchise. As somebody who grew up watching these movies, I thought that the passing of the characters onto a new kid was the perfect way to end it. And then they announced Toy Story 4, and I was like, okay, I see that coming. I see why you're going to do that now. And I saw Toy Story 4, and I had a ton of fun with it. And I still think that even with this film existing, Toy Story 3 is the perfect ending. But this was a perfectly fine way to round out these movies. And I'm not completely on board with the thoughts of a fifth one. It really depends on if they're just going to pump it out and kind of recycle some things and how they're going to approach it. I really hope that they sit down and figure out a really smart really fun way to move this franchise forward into a new generation of kids. And I hope it, for people like me, for people, my age in their 30s, all of you guys out there, I hope it resonates with us, and it's not just a, wash, rinse, and repeat sequel, which, I used to believe Disney wasn't capable of that sort of thing, but the last couple of years, I mean, I don't know, I think we're all a little unsure of what Disney can do nowadays. You don't really know. Out here ruining franchises and dreams. So this was a pre-order that came in. I did finally get Dario Argento's Dark Glasses, and I was super happy to get this. I actually watched this on Shudder when it first dropped, and it's some of the best work Argento has put out in a long time. I mean, probably since the 80s. This is top tier for him from that era. It is a return to the giallo form. It's a good story. It is well made. RLG put this out again. They're constantly working with Shudder. I wish this came with a slipcover, because I feel like there could have been some really cool embossment on that. And I've actually noticed, I think The Watcher was another recent one that didn't include a slip, and I don't really know what's happening there, but I was perfectly happy to get this for, I think it was $13.99 or so. It was somewhere around there. But I am happy to be adding new Argento films to the collection. I don't know how many he's got left in him, but, if this was sort of like his goodbye film, I'm happy it's better than half the stuff he's been pumping out in the 90s. And there was some messes there, I'll tell you that. So I did stop at Big Lots a couple of days ago. I actually went to the gym. Big Lots is right next door. And Brandon and I stopped at a Big Lots a couple of weeks ago, and they got a ton of new stuff, and not new releases, but just new inventory for their movies. So I figured mine would probably be the same, and it wasn't. There was barely anything new, but there was a couple that I picked up, a couple small things. First up, I picked up Friday Night Lights. This is my all-time favorite sports movie. It's also my favorite TV show. I know Bob's Blu-rays is also a huge fan of this film and that show. I remember the first time I saw this, I watched this on my aunt's computer. It shows you how old I am. I was watching it on the computer. I think I was supposed to be studying, and they actually own this. They own it on DVD, and I threw this in. And the ending, I think my heart actually came to a stop. There's also a crazy scene with Booty Miles that also ripped my heart out. This is a really, 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 really tense movie. Billy Bob Thornton is awesome in here as the coach. I was really happy to see this continue on into a TV show, especially since Peter Berg, the director of this, was an executive producer and creator on that. And I think the show followed in the footsteps really well. So I am happy to finally add that. And then I also picked up We're the Millers. And believe it or not, comedy is one genre that our collection sort of lacks in. And for like the $1.99 they were asking for this, I had to pick it up. Jennifer Aniston is not just the love of my life, but the love of many people's lives. And she is fantastic in this. You have Jason Sudeikis. You also have Emma Roberts in here as well. This movie is absolutely hilarious. Comedies are sort of my kind of like escape. That's my resort. I put on comedies in the background when I'm cleaning, or I'm just kind of hanging out with the pets, or whatever I'm doing. I throw those on. If you follow me on Letterboxd, you'll see that I've been watching a ton lately, because I've kind of been in the mood to just kind of not stress and just put on something to make me feel good. And comedies are that thing. So I am happy to finally pick up We're the Millers. So next up, this was actually part of my Valentine's Day gift from Erica, and I am super happy to finally have this. This is released by Synapse Films, and this is Just Desserts. This is the making of Creepshow, and this is from, I think, 2007. Yeah, so I haven't watched this yet, but there is a ton of interviews in here with Tom Savini, George Romero, Stephen King, obviously really chronicling the behind the scenes and sort of the creation leading up to Creepshow. Really what I would like to do is watch Creepshow 1 and 2, finish Creepshow Season 3, and then dive into this. But the horror documentary section of the collection is growing immensely, and I couldn't be happier about that. I'm an absolute sucker for in-depth documentaries like this. I mean, especially from this era. There's a little bit of a glare there. But especially from this era of filmmaking, especially chronicling, seeing footage of Romero and all of them talking about this movie. Yeah, I know Adrienne Barbeau is in here. There's a couple others as well, if I remember. Yeah, Tom Atkins is also being interviewed for this. So I am really excited to dive into this. This is a really cool release from Synapse. You got 2 commentaries, a bunch of on-set video footage. I mean, this is a really loaded release. So Erica's just building up that documentary collection, and I'm 100% here for it all the way. So next up, these are actually from a Facebook seller that this is my second order with him, and he's absolutely fantastic. I got these for a crazy deal. They were 100% sealed, still with the digital codes and everything. And the price was out of this world. If I told you, you probably wouldn't even believe me. But I picked up a little haul here. And first up in that was Jackass Forever. And I did see this in theaters. It was, I mean, you can't go wrong with a Jackass movie. I grew up in the era of actually watching Jackass on MTV. I live right outside of Philadelphia, where Jackass kind of got its start. That's sort of the roots of Jackass are in Philly. And Erica and I saw this in theaters. We loved the new cast. We loved all the new gags. I really think that Jackass, I was a little unsure of the direction it was heading in because it was so up in the air. It was kind of like, you know, are they just going to retire this thing and move on? I'm trying to think like, you know, where do you go from here? But the new crew that they lined up was fantastic. I actually had a ton of fun with them. I thought they were great. And if they continue Jackass without the OG crew into the new crew, I'll 100% still be a fan. I also loved Jackass Forever 4.5, which is available exclusively on Netflix. I hope they do release that at some point. But I am super happy to finally get this one added to the collection. It was missing. I just didn't feel like dumping, you know, $20 in for it or something. So I was happy I found a seller who had it as part of this bundle. And then also part of this was Black Panther Wakanda Forever. Now, when it comes to Disney and MCU, I'm not quick to jump on the 4Ks. I read a couple reviews for Wakanda Forever that really weren't, you know, screaming to the fence about the 4Ks. It seemed like they were pretty compatible. I don't have the most intense setup where I can see the most drastic of differences. So for the price that I got this bundle and for the price it came down to per film, I was actually perfectly fine just having this on Blu-ray. I actually prefer this slipcover over the 4K slipcover. I haven't seen this yet. I'm kind of dealing with a little bit of a Marvel burnout. I do have all of them, including Thor: Love and Thunder. That was the last physical release before this. But I am slowly making my way back through, because I've watched the Marvel movies over and over again for years now. I was a big fan of Black Panther. I definitely thought that Ryan Coogler, there were some rough patches. You know, the CGI in the first Black Panther was rough. And then unfortunately, you know, we dealt with the death of Chadwick Boseman. It kind of comes into question, where do we bring the franchise, or where are they going to bring the franchise from there? And I do know that this is, 2 hours and 41 minutes. So I am excited to dive into this. I have high expectations for this. So I'm really excited to not only be caught up in the MCU physical collection, but happy to have this and got it in the way that I did. Man, I feel like I love long movies, but I feel like trying to find 161 spare minutes in life is a tough thing to do. So hopefully I can find that sometime soon. Another pickup, and this was actually the only film I was missing in my Michael Bay collection, and that is Ambulance. And I actually missed this in theaters, and Erica and I watched this on, I think, Paramount Plus it was, and I had a ton of fun with this. Post Transformers era Michael Bay, I was quick to fall back in love with. I was a huge fan of Six Underground, big fan of Ambulance. I think Jake Gyllenhaal in here is absolutely fantastic. The concept is typical Bay fashion. It's way overblown. It's completely unrealistic. You just kind of turn your brain off and go with it. I didn't love the ending, but I have to say that for, how long is this movie? 2 hours and 10 minutes? 2 hours and 17 minutes. I was into it. Like, I was dialed in. I think we were watching this and eating Domino's. So I think I was enjoying some wings and pizza while watching this. It was a heck of a time. Also happy to finally have the entire Michael Bay filmography in the collection behind me. So hint, hint, that's going to be a pretty cool video coming soon. But yeah, I added Ambulance to the collection. And then the last one that I actually purchased as part of this collection was Don't Worry, Darling. And I did not pay the sticker price on there. It's just a heads up. But I was really excited for this from trailers and stuff. I'm a big fan of Olivia Wilde as an actress. I'm also a fan of her as a director, especially coming off of Booksmart. There was a couple years there where we were all kind of waiting to see what she would do next. And the trailers for this were fantastic. The marketing was great. Loved all the posters. And then I sat down and watched it, and I was a little underwhelmed, which I might say it's my fault. It's probably my fault. I definitely hyped myself up way too much. Florence Pugh was great. Believe it or not, actually, Harry Styles was fantastic. There's a great supporting cast in here. You have Olivia Wilde, Gemma Chan, Kiki Layne, Nick Kroll, and Chris Pine. All are great. I do think the premise is a little too big for what we actually get. It doesn't feel fully realized, but this movie is shot so well. And honestly, for probably 2 days after I watched it, I didn't think about it at all. And then all of a sudden it started creeping back up again. And I was like, wait a second. Just kept thinking about it. And for the price that I got all of these films, I actually got this for less than $5. And I wanted to revisit it. I do love this slip. It's sort of a soft matte feel. But I hope Olivia Wilde continues in this direction as far as her directing style. But yeah. This is in need for a revisit. I am happy to have it. I think I'm going to love it on the second watch. But, yeah, Don't Worry, Darling. Add it to the collection. And then the seller actually just threw this in. And I contacted him because I didn't see this in his pile of things that he was selling. So I wanted to make sure it wasn't a mistake. But he actually sent Steven Soderbergh's Unsane, which I have never seen, and I know that this is one of his shot on iPhone films, so I am excited to check this out. I've heard good things. So I want to say a big thank you to him for just tossing this in there. That's absolutely awesome of him. I'm actually working with him right now on another bundle. So, and then last up, I just want to show a couple things. I went over to my buddy Brandon's house. It's iBruz here on YouTube and Instagram and stuff, and he actually had a couple of gifts for me that I was really excited about. The first one being November Man. This is with Pierce Brosnan and Luke Bracey. We actually went to Bandit Video, I don't know, beginning of the year, and he bought 2 copies of this because he was shocked I had never seen it, and I just now actually got it from him. But I'm going to be watching this while editing this video. I've never seen this, but I'm excited to check it out. Anything Brandon says I should watch, I'm going to jump on it, so I'm even happier that he's adding to my collection with movies that he loves. So, and then this was awesome. I did not expect this at all, but I'm a huge fan of Jackass, Viva La Bam, Wild Boys, that era of television, what was going on with that crew. And a very important member of that crew was Spike Jonze. And Brandon actually found this set, and it's insanely cool. And it's called The Work of Director Spike Jonze. So let me show you this. And in this set here is not only a 50-page book full of photographs, drawing, and interviews with Spike Jonze, but there's also 6, 12, 8, like 20 music videos on here that he's directed. Looks like he's directed music videos for Notorious B.I.G., Weezer, a couple videos for Weezer actually, Dinosaur Jr., Beastie Boys, Daft Punk. There's a bunch of interviews on here with those musicians. You have a couple making of behind the scenes. There's actually audio commentaries on here, which is really cool. There's a couple rarities, which is 1, 2, 3, 5 short films that Spike Jonze has shot, and then there's 3 documentaries on here as well. And it looks like we have, let's see, a 31-minute, pretty much about Spike and Fat Lip working on the music video. It looks like there's another one of Spike Jonze chronicling the day in 2 Cowboys' lives in Houston. They're pro bull riders, so that's really cool. And then looks like one of a dance group on the way to MTV Music Video Awards. So this is an awesome set. I'm gonna dive headfirst into this soon. I love this the photo on the front too. But huge thank you to Brandon for that. And then I'm gonna round out this video with just a little gift that he gave us, which I was hyped for. And this is a little hanger. I'm actually gonna hang some hats from here, but check this out. It's actually officially licensed for The Shining. And let's see if it'll focus here. And this is the hanger right here. It's got the infamous red rum on it, or in the reflection here, it's going to say murder. But this is awesome. Looks like one of the little clips fell off. I actually have it in my pocket, and I'm going to hang this up. I got a couple horror hats I think I'm going to hang off of this thing. So it's hefty. This thing's probably like 2-3 pounds. This thing is not cheap at all. But a huge thank you to Brandon for this and those gifts as well. And a huge thank you to everyone on here who is continuing to come back and continuing to watch. Please, let's continue supporting physical media. I got a lot of cool stuff coming up. I have some streams I'm going to be a part of, and really more stuff with the community as I not just continue to grow in, but I want to continue to help and assist where I can and just to support the fellow members of the community. So thank you to everyone who's been reaching out. Thank you to everybody who follows me on Instagram or subscribes on here. I'm here to continue supporting what I love, which is physical media, all of this behind me, and the other people like myself who are willing to share what they love and be public about it and support it as well. So thank you very much. I'll be seeing everybody again soon. I hope everybody enjoys the rest of their week. See ya.